Right, good morning everybody and welcome to this remote meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. My name's Andy Booth from Governance Services and I'll be clerking the meeting this morning. Under agenda item number 1, Councillor Hutchison was elected as chair prior to the start of the hearing. Can I just ask that all members are agreeable to this? Yep, there's a nod from Councillor Bithell. So can I pass it over to you, Chair?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to this remote hearing of the Licensing Subcommittee. My name is Councillor Andrew Hutchison and I will be chairing today's hearing. Before I proceed further, could I remind everyone that today's meeting is being streamed live on the City Council's YouTube channel. Could I ask the following members of the subcommittee to introduce themselves, please? We have Councillor Bithell.
Good morning all, Councillor Bithell representing Bexley.
Thank you, and Councillor Wenham.
Good morning, Councillor Wenham representing Wrong Hill Ward.
Thank you. I would like to start the hearing today by confirming that this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee meets the requirements of the Council's constitution, even though members of the panel are in remote attendance. While items today will be fully discussed as is usual, remote attendance requires a few slight changes as to how I will manage the debate. Therefore, can all attendees mute their microphones unless I invite them to speak? This will avoid disruption from background noise. Can all participants please keep their cameras on during the hearing? And all participants will be invited to introduce themselves at the start of the hearing to make it clear to public observers who will be involved in the proceedings. I ask for your assistance and patience while I go through this process. Could I now invite officers to introduce themselves and mute your microphones once you have introduced yourself? And I'll start with Rob Brown from Legal Services.
Good morning, I'm Robert Brown. I'm a solicitor in Leeds City Council's Legal Services and legal advisor to the subcommittee this morning.
Thanks, Rob. And Matthew Nelson, Entertainment Licensing.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew. I'm part of Entertainment Licensing.
Thanks, Matthew. Andy Booth, Governance Services.
Thank you, Chair. Andy Booth, and I'll be the clerk to the subcommittee this morning.
Thanks, Andy. And could I ask the applicant, or I believe just their representative, please, to introduce themselves? I believe it Rebecca Ingram.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good morning. Yeah, my name's Rebecca Ingram from Kite Solicitors, and I'm the solicitor on behalf of Ms Morris, who is the applicant. Thank you.
Okay, and I think just for the record, Elizabeth, the applicant, is apologised on. She's not feeling too well today, I believe. That's
right, Chair. Yes, she asked me to extend her apologies to the committee. She had an accident some time ago which required some spinal surgery. She's all right, but she struggles from time to time, and today, unfortunately, is not a very good day. She's really struggling, so she's asked me to continue on her behalf, provided, of course, that the committee are happy for me to do so.
Yeah, I think we've already agreed that that's not a problem at all. We'll continue as normal.
Wonderful, thank you, Chair.
Over to you, Andy, I think.
Thank you, Chair. Right, back to the agenda. Under item number 2, there are no appeals against the refusal of inspection of documents. Under agenda item number 3, there's no exempt information on the agenda today. Under agenda item number 4, there are no late items. And under agenda item number 5, could I ask members if they have any disclosable pecuniary interest to declare?
None from myself.
Nope.
Okay, back to you, Chair.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Winner. Okay, agenda item number 6, which is the application for the renewal of a sex establishment licence for Silks, 2 Sovereign Place, Leeds. And could the legal advisor to the subcommittee outline the procedure for the hearing, please? Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Councillor. If I just get my script. This is an application for the renewal of a sex establishment licence for Silks, 2 Sovereign Place, Leeds, in particular for the provision of sexual entertainment in the form of lap dancing. Our usual procedure for such applications is that the applicant addresses the committee first, Other parties, whether in support or in opposition, then address the committee, and the applicant has the chance to respond to anything said by those other parties. As I understand it, there are no objections to this renewal application by any of the responsible authorities or by any other person. In making the determination, the overriding principle will be that each application is determined on its own merits, taking into account local knowledge, the licensing policy, and the guidance issued by the Home Office. Where it is necessary to depart from the guidance or the policy, the subcommittee will give clear and cogent reasons for doing so. The regulations permit the subcommittee to set a time limit on presentations, providing the same time limit is applied to all parties. Our usual time limit is 15 minutes per party, and applicants can split their allocation between an initial presentation and then a summing up at the end after any questions from members. In this case, however, there are no other parties, and Ms. Ingram may wish to make her presentation in one go. Could you indicate which you would prefer, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do it all in one go if that's okay with everyone. Thank you.
And would 15 minutes be sufficient?
That'll be more than sufficient. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Then if the chair is happy, a limit of 15 minutes will apply to the presentation. After your presentation, the subcommittee members may wish to ask questions. The time for questions to be asked and answered is in addition to the time limit set for the presentation. Parties may request permission to call witnesses. Can I ask Ms. Ingram if the applicant wishes to call any witnesses today?
No, we don't. Thank you.
Thank you. All documents that have been submitted have been copied and circulated to the subcommittee in advance. Can I just confirm that we all have the same original pack with the agenda report to the subcommittee concerning this application with appendices? It should comprise 70 pages. We all got the same pack?
I think everybody's
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
nod on that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I just check that there are no additional documents to be tabled this morning? Ms. Ingram?
No, she said.
Okay. Please note your presentation is your only opportunity to address the subcommittee. So you need to make sure that you've included in your presentation everything that you wish to say and have taken into account. After your presentation and after any questions, the members will consider whether they have all the information they require to make a decision. Once this point is reached, members of the committee will go into a private session. If members have any additional questions to ask, they will return to the meeting to ask those questions before then returning back to the private session to make their decision. Can all parties please remain in the meeting until they're asked to leave? All the parties will be informed once the hearing has ended and will be advised of the decision in writing within 5 working days of today. Can I just ask if there are any questions about the procedure that we propose to follow this morning? Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, so Matthew, if we could, the licensing officer, present the application, please.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Chair. So today, members are required to consider an application for the renewal of a sex establishment licence to authorise the activity of sexual entertainment in the form of lap dancing. The application is made by Elizabeth Morris, and the application is for the premises known as Silks 2 Sovereign Place, Leeds LS1. The ground floor and first floor are to be covered under the provisions of the licence, and this is in accordance with the plan circulated in advance of the meeting. So the hours of operation are 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. Sunday to Thursday, 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. Friday and Saturday, and this is in line with the existing licence. Members' attention is drawn to a copy of the application form, which is attached to Appendix B on page 23 of the report. Also attached, but this time at Appendix C on page 35, is additional documents supplied with the application. This includes the Dancers Welfare Policy, the Dancers Code of Conduct, the Customers Code of Conduct, the Pricing Policy and Trade Union details. Also a consideration for members is the external appearance and all methods of advertising, which can be found at Appendix D on page 57 of the report. Members should note that there is a legal requirement to consider the application regardless of the receipt of representations. On this occasion, I can confirm that the application has not attracted any representations or objections whatsoever. So the current statement of licensing policy for sex establishments states that there is the appropriate number of sexual entertainment venues in the city centre, which is set to a maximum of 4, and providing that these premises are not near properties with sensitive uses or in sensitive locations. To assist members, a list of sensitive premises and sensitive locations as determined by the policy at 6.3 and 6.4 of the report. We have included a map to identify sensitive premises within the area, which can be found at Appendix F on page 63. Finally, Chair, the standard conditions as set out in the current policy may be found at Appendix G on page 65 of the report. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Okay, we'll go straight into the applicant. If I can invite the applicant to present their case, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, good morning, everyone. As per your agenda report, Silks has been trading as a sexual entertainment venue at this same location since around 2009, and it's been licensed under this regime since 2011. Since then, the licence has been renewed annually every year, and that has been as one of the maximum of 4 that Mr. Nelson has just referred to. The licence has been renewed on the same basis as that applied for today, year on year, since, as I say, 2011. Nothing has changed in relation to this SEV since the licence was last renewed. Obviously, it was a little more than a year ago due to the lockdown we've all been experiencing, but nothing has changed in that time. The location and the style of operation of the premises remain the same. The external appearance of the premises remains the same, and you can see that on pages 57 to 59 of your agenda papers. The characteristics of that external appearance are that when it is closed, as shown on page 59 of the papers, the premises is entirely inconspicuous from the street. And when it's open, it's only the reception area of the premises that can be seen from outside on the street, and that's on pages 57 and 58. As per your report, and as Mr. Nelson has just highlighted, there have been no objections whatsoever to this application, as has often been the case in relation to the renewal of this particular SEV licence. There have been no comments whatsoever from West Yorkshire Police, and indeed, as far as I'm aware, there never have been in relation to any of the renewals that have taken place for this site. We would submit that that is because this premises is and always has been in an entirely appropriate locality for an SEV. Mr. Nelson has referred to the map of sensitive locations, which is contained within your agenda papers. The premises is not located next to any sensitive uses or localities. I think the nearest identifiable location there is Sovereign Square Park. The policy refers to parks and to play areas, so areas sort of frequented more regularly by children. This is more of sort of an open green space within sort of a number of office blocks around the area. There's never been an issue in terms of propriety for this particular premises, and we would submit that it continues to be an appropriate locality. The premises is appropriate in layout, in external appearance, and we would submit in all other aspects for use as an SEV. As such, we would respectfully submit that the appropriate and proportionate course of action here would be to grant this application as applied for, as per the standard conditions. We would submit that the lack of representation and indeed the application in itself demonstrates that here there aren't any mandatory nor discretionary grounds for the refusal of this application, and as such we would respectfully ask the committee to grant it. Unless there are any queries or concerns that I can help the committee with, that's really all that I intend to say this morning. As I say, we consider the locality, the premises to be appropriate for this use, as indeed it has been for the past number of years. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ms. Ingram. Do any subcommittee members have any questions? Councillor Bithell.
Thank you, Chair. Just a really quick one. One of the things that we have to do when we look through these licenses is to look through all of the policies. And in a lot of the policies, it consistently refers to the women working there as girls. Can we take back to Mrs. Morris, please, that referring to them as women in policies would potentially be more appropriate, please?
Absolutely, Councillor. Yeah, that's no problem at all. I will feed that straight back to my client. She's very happy to take on board any comments from the committee. So I will ask her to have a look at those policies as a matter of urgency and make those revisions.
Anything further, Councillor Bithell? Any other questions? Councillor Wenham?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, can I just quickly ask, I'm guessing the clubs are currently closed because of the COVID situation. What are your intentions? I don't know, you may not even know yourselves, moving forward, and is there any sort of conversations regarding COVID policies or anything like that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, Chair. It's sort of in the hands, as a lot of things are at the moment, it's obviously in the hands of central government. We haven't had, either in relation to this premises specifically or sort of more widely, any particular indication of when we might expect COVID secure restrictions to be lifted for SEVs or sort of for nightclubs in general. So it's all a bit up in the air for my client at the moment. They will be keen to open sort of as soon as they're able to. And as and when they are able to, we'll be assisting them with a COVID secure risk assessment, as we have been with sort of the bar and restaurant clients that we have that are reopened already. So it's a bit of a case of wait and see, but there will be a COVID secure risk assessment and policies and procedures in place as and when they are able to open.
Okay, thanks for that. So any other questions or that have come up from any subcommittee members? Nothing at all. Okay, in that case, subcommittee will now move to a private session to deliberate on the application. Could I ask that all parties, including the applicant and their representative and the licensing officer, remain available should the subcommittee have any additional questions? And if there are any additional questions, you'll be invited back into the meeting by the clerk. Andy?
Right, thank you, Chair. Members, the legal officer and the clerk will now move to a breakout room for private discussion. We'll return to the meeting room once those discussions are complete. Hopefully this should take no longer than 10 minutes. we're ready to recommence, Chair.
Thanks, everybody back in the room. Yep. Okay, thank you everybody for your attendance. The decision has been made during the deliberation, and the decision will be informed to the applicant within 5 working days. And that concludes the business for today. Thanks everybody for your time.
Thank you very much.